Anyone for Nitai Gaur? You have? Nitai Gaur Bhajan? Yeah. Or separate is fine.
Together. It's time.
Yeah.
Well, 173. Yes.
So good.
দয়াল নিতাই চৈতন্য বলে নাচরে আমার মন দয়াল নিতাই চৈতন্য বলে নাচরে আমার মন নাচরে আমার মন বলে নাচরে আমার মন ও দয়াল নিতাই চৈতন্য বলে নাচরে আমার মন Chant the holy names of the munificent Nitai and Chaitanya and dance. My dear mind, dance, oh mind, just dance. Emon doyal to nahi Emon doyal to nahi Mar ki prende emon doyal to nahi ওরে আপারাদা দূরে যাবে পাবে প্রেমাধন ও দয়াল নিতাই চৈতন্য বলে নাচরে আমার মন ও দয়াল নিতাই চৈতন্য বলে নাচরে আমার মন There is no one as merciful as Nitai, for despite being beaten, he bestowed prem. By chanting their names, your offenses will go far away, and you will obtain the treasure of prem. Oh, name aparad vichar nahi hai. তখন কৃষ্ণ নামে রুচি হবে গুছিবে বন্ধন ও দয়াল নিতাই চৈতন্য বলে নাচরে আমার মন দয়াল নিতাই চৈতন্য বলে নাচরে আমার মন There is no consideration of offenses in chanting their holy names. Then you will develop a taste for Krishna Nam, and your bondage to material existence will be destroyed. Krishna Name Anurakto Habe তখন অনায়াসে সফল হবে জীবের জীবন ও দয়াল নিতাই চৈতন্য বলে নাচরে আমার ও দয়াল নিতাই চৈতন্য বলে নাচরে আমার মন You will develop deep attachment to Krishna Nam. Then automatically your life will become successful. Without attachment to Sri Krishna, this life is simply useless. কৃষ্ণ রাতি বিনা জীবন তো মিছে হে শেষে বৃন্দাবনে রাধা শ্যামে পাবে দর্শন আমার গৌর কৃপা হলে হে আমার গৌর কৃপা হলে হে ও দয়াল নিতাই চৈতন্য বলে নাচ রে আমার মন দয়াল নিতাই চৈতন্য বলে নাচ রে আমার মন If you receive the mercy of Sri Gauranga, ultimately you will receive the darshan of Sri Radha Shyam Sundar in Vrindavan. O doyal nitai chaitanya bole nach re amar man. Nach re amar man, bole nach re aman man. O doyal nitai chaitanya bole nach re amar man. নাচ রে আমার মন বলে নাচ রে আমার মন জয় গৌরানিতাই জয় গৌরানিতাই জয় গৌরানিতাই জয় গৌরানিতাই হরি বো হরি বো হরি বো নিতাই গৌর হরি বো श्री श्री निताई गौर सुंदर की जय
Okay. Jai Srimati Shamrani Didi ki jai. Go 130. Gopinath Gopinath Mama Nivedana Suno Gopinath Mama Nivedana Suno Vishaya Durjanan Sadaka Merata Vishaya Durjana Sadaka Merata Kichu nahi mora guna Vishaya Durjana Sadaka Merata Vishaya Durjana Sadaka Kichu nahi mora guna Gopinath amar bharasha tumi Gopinath amar bharasha tumi তোমার চরণে লয়নু শরণা তোমার কিঙ্করায় আমি তোমার চরণে লয়নু शरण हमारा किंकरायामी गोपीनाथ केमन शोधिबे मोरे गोपीनाथ केमन शोधिबे मोरे गोपीनाथ केमन शोधिबे मोरे गोपीनाथ केमन शोधिबे मोरे न जानी भक्ति कमे जदमति पदछि संसार घरे न जानी भक्ति कमे जदमति पदछि संसार घरे गोपीनाथ सकल तोमार माया गोपीनाथ नहीं मम बला क्या न सुने माला स्वाधीन न है कया क्या न सुने गोपीनाथ नियत चरण स्थान गोपीनाथ गोपीनाथ नियत चरण स्थान गोपीनाथ नियत चरण स्थान मगे पामरा कंदिया कंदिया कर है करुणा दाना पामरा कंदिया का गोपीनाथ तुम्हें तो सकली पारो गोपीनाथ गोपीनाथ तुम्हें तो सकली पारो गोपीनाथ दुजन तरिते तमार शखती के अच्छे पापीरायारा गोपीनाथ मितो सकली पारो से गोपीनाथ कृपा पर बारा गोपीनाथ जीवेर करणे आशिया प्रपंचे लीला कैल सुविस्तार जीवेर करणे आशिया प्रपंचे लीला कैल सुविस्तार गोपीनाथ हमें की दशर दशी गोपीनाथ आशिर सकल Bailo charana vinoda thakilo poshi. Gopinath mama nivedana suno. Gopinath mama nivedana suno. Gopinath Jaya Gopinata, Jaya Gopinata, Gopinata, Radha Gopinata. Jaya Bhakti Vinod, Bhakti Vinod, Bhakti Vinod, Jaya Bhakti Vinod. O Gopinath, please hear my prayer. I am a wicked materialist, always addicted to worldly desires, and I possess no good qualities. O Gopinath, you are my only hope. I have taken shelter at your lotus feet, and I am your servant. O Gopinath, how will you purify me? I do not know what bhakti is, and my materialistic mind is absorbed in mundane fruitive activities. I have fallen into a dark and perilous worldly existence. O Gopinath, everything here is your Maya. I have no strength or spiritual knowledge, and this body is not free from the control of material nature. O Gopinath, this wicked soul, weeping piteously, begs for an eternal place at your lotus feet. Bestow your mercy upon me. O Gopinath, you are capable of everything. You have the power to deliver all wicked persons. Who else is there for this sinner? O Gopinath, you are an ocean of mercy. Having come into this material world of 5 elements for the sake of the living entities, you display your divine pastimes. O Gopinath, how sinful I am. Even all the demons have attained your lotus feet, but this Bhaktivinoda simply waits. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai.
Page 114. Dekite, dekite, bolibo vakabe, nijastula paricha, nayene heribo, brajapura sobha, nitya chiranandamoy. Dekite, dekite, bolibo vakabe, nijastula paricha, nayene heribo, brajabhura sobha, nitya chiranandamo, nitya chiranandamo, nitya chiranandamo, nijastula paricha, nitya chiranandamo, nitya chiranandamo, nijastula paricha, Vrishabhanupure Janamaloivo Javata Vivahave Braja Gopiva Voivo Swabhav Anabhava Narahive Vrishabhanupare Janamaloivo Yavata Vivahe Braja Gopi Bhavoivo Swabha Anabhava Narahive Anabhava Narahive Anabhava Narahive Yavata Vivabhe Anabhava Narahive Anabhava Narahive Yavata Vivabhe Nija Siddha Deha Nija Siddha Nam Nija Rupa Swavasa Radha Kripa Bale Labhi Bhova Kave Krishna Prema Prakara Nija Siddha Deha Nija Siddha Nam Nija Rupa Swavasa Radha Kripa Bale Labhi Bhova Kave Krishna Prema Prakara Krishna Prema Prakara Krishna Prema Prakara Nija Rupa Swavasana Krishna Prema Prakara Krishna Prema Prakarana Nija Rupa Swavasana Jamuna Salila Aharane Giya Ujivo Jugalaras Prema Mugdha Hoye Pagilini Prai Gaiva Radharayasa Jamuna Salila Aharane Giya Jugala Jug Prema Mugdha Hoye Pagilini Prai Gaiva Radharaya Gaiva Radharaya Pujivo Jugalaras Gaiva Radharaya Dekite boli bova kave Nijastula parichay Nayane heribo Brajapura soba Nichachira nandamor Dekite boli bova kave Nijastula parichay Nayane heribo Brajapura soba Nityachirananda Nityachirananda Moy Nityachirananda Moy Nijastula Parichay Nityachirananda Moy Chirananda Moy Nijastula Parija. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe, Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe, Jaya Vrishabhanu Nandini Radhe Radhe, Nandini Radhe Radhe. When before my very sight will my bodily self-conception disappear? Then with my own eyes I shall behold the exquisite beauty of Braj, full of eternal spiritual cognizance and bliss. At that time I shall take birth in the village of Vrishabhanu Maharaj, and my marriage will occur in Yavat. My sole disposition and character will be that of a Braja Gopi. Any other mood will not remain. When shall I obtain, by the power of Radha's mercy, my perfected spiritual body, my perfected spiritual name, and my own form and dress, true initiation into the realm of Krishna Prema? When I go to draw water from the Yamuna, I shall understand the confidential mellows of the divine couple's loving affairs. Being overwhelmed with prem, I shall sing Sri Radha's glories just like a madwoman. Shri Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki joy. Mahamantra. I finished bathing.
No, it's okay. Actually, sure. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Haribo. Haribo, 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 Haribo. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Gurudev. Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Twadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarabhaktaya Namo Namaha. Yam pravijantam manupetam apeta krityam Dvaipayano virahaka taruva juhava Pujeti Tadavno benedus Tam sarva bhuta hridayam Munimanatosmi Bhaktya vihina Aparada lakshaye Chiptascha kamaditarangamadye Kripa mai tvam Shadana prapadyam Vinde numaste Shadanara vindam Tavaivasmi Najivami tvam vina Iti vigaya radhe Tvam nayamam sharanantike Kripayati adhiradha Bharita sheshabadha Kimapada vishishtam Pushti marya dvayorme Yadi vadati chakinchit Smeraha sordita shrir Dvija mani panktya Mukti shuktya tadakim Shama sundara shikanda shekara Smeraha samali manohara Radhika rasika mam kripanidhe Svapriya chadana kinkarim karu Prananata vrishabhanu nandini Shrimukabjara salola satapada Radhika padatale kritastitim Tvam bhajami rasikendra shekara Samvidhaya dasane trinam vibo Prartaye brajamahendra nandana Astu mohana tavati vallabha Janma janmani marishwari priya. If Sri Radha is merciful to me, then unlimited obstacles to my devotion will be removed. There will be nothing superior for me to obtain because I will have received the excellence offered by the paths of both Vaidhi and Rag. And if she speaks something while smiling gently, thereby revealing the brilliance of the rows of her beautiful pearl-like teeth, what significance will the oyster of liberation have? O Shamasundar, O you whose head is adorned with peacock feathers, whose face is graced with a laughing smile, whose morally flute enchants the mind, and who are most expert in relishing rust with Srimati Radhika. O ocean of mercy, please make me a kinkari maidservant at the feet of your beloved. You are the lord of the life of the daughter of Vrishabhanu Maharaj, and you are like a bee, always eager to taste the nectar of her lotus-like face. O Rasikendra Shekhar, foremost of those who are Rasik, you who are situated at the feet of Srimati Radhika, I worship you. O son of the king of Braj, O all-pervading one, O Mohan, who enchants the minds of all. Taking a piece of straw in my teeth, I pray that your supremely beloved Sri Radha be my dear worshipful goddess birth after birth. First of all, offering unlimited Dandavat Pranams and the dust of the worshipful Diksha Guru Devi Om Vishnu Parastata Sachi Shrimati Shamrani Didi. Similarly to Param Guru Dev Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnu Parastata Sachi Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And similarly Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnu Parastata Sachi Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. To the entire Rupanuga Guru Varga and all assembled devotees, headed by Divakar and Atul Nanda Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dandavats. Welcome everyone to the continuation of our Sri Sita Ram conference. Haribol. Yes, you know. So we have some illustrious speakers today. I know 2 people are ready. Is anyone else prepared to speak? Okay, perfect. So Atulananda, would you like to lead us off? Take the holy pillow. Vyasa-san.
Jnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmlitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayani Ti Namane Vanchakalpa Tulubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. I've heard that the harmonium exists a little bit in the spiritual world, so I'm thinking it's for this purpose, to hold laptops or books, whatever they have there. Well, tomorrow is the very auspicious appearance day of Lord Ramachandra. So I've been given the honor to speak of his childhood a little bit. And I think it's nice to remember that although this story may be very extremely tragic, its purpose is to elucidate the glories of Sita Ram, especially Sita Devi, and Lord Ramachandra's mercy, which is Krishna's mercy, because Lord Ramachandra is none other than Krishna himself. And Sita is none other than Radharani herself. And Lord Ramachandra's parents are none other than Nanda and Yashoda. So in that mood, we should pray to Sita and Ram that somehow, by our speaking today, we can learn some of their glories. So Ramachandra, his father, King Dasarath, had some 360 queens. He was a great king. He had chariots galore going in every direction, conquering his foes and liberating all the world, bringing peace and harmony. He was a great king. He was a sage. He was like a rishi amongst kings. And he knew all scriptures, and he performed only pious activities. Although he was a king and was conquering, he was very pious, actually. So one time when Dasarath was hunting, actually, he came across the ashram of, let's find it here. A great king who was his fellow king, we'll say. They were on similar platforms and very respected. Can't find his name, but he was the father of he was a great king, and he offered Ram, please come and spend the night in my abode, and my daughter will serve you very nicely. Yeah, Janak. No. No, Janak. Sorry.
I thought this was my topic.
Oh, what was your topic? Yeah, I don't want to.
Talk about his daughter and when
Kaikeyi's father.
Kaikeyi's father and how he gives the daughter to.
Oh, then you should speak first. Because this is.
I'm not ready.
Oh.
That's the problem.
We don't have to go chronologically. Okay, a little overlapping. So yeah, Raga Manjari will speak more on this. But anyhow, this is the actually Kaikeyi is the daughter of this great king, and we'll get into that more tomorrow. But there's a great foreshadowing of what is to come. But let's focus on Ramachandra's birth. So Ramachandra's father, Dasarath, performed a sacrifice, a fire sacrifice under the guidance of Vashishta Rishi. Maybe other rishis were present, I'm not sure. But in this fire sacrifice, they had the desire to attain, he had the desire to attain children, especially sons, to carry on his kingdom. So they performed a great fire sacrifice with a large leaping fire, and out of that fire eventually came a very dark, beautiful, unimaginable, human-like figure holding a golden pot, which he gave to Dasarath and said, "Give this to your wives to eat." And inside was essentially sweet rice and milk and sugar. And so he gave the sweet rice, half of it to Kaikeyi and half of it to Kaushalya, and each one of them divided theirs in half and gave the other half to, anyone remember the other queen? Sumitra. Is that right? Yes. So these three primary wives. Go ahead. No, I want to know what you said.
I was just thinking Kaushalya.
Kaushalya, yeah, Kaushalya, Kaikeyi, and Sumitra, yeah. So, like this, they took the sweet rice and then some number of amazingly described, I think not fortnights, but seasons, many seasons passed, because at this point, Dasarath may be 16,000 years old or more, something, big numbers. We're not talking hundreds, we're talking more than 10,000 years old. This was a time when penances lasted hundreds and thousands of years. Vishwamitra, he did 1,000-year-long penances, as did Ravan, who we'll hear more about later. Ravan would just go on top of a mountain for a few thousand years and chop off his heads, and they would regrow them, and very easily attained powerful siddhis and powers. And so through this sweet rice, the wives of Dasarath became pregnant, and I believe it was in the Nakshatra Punarvasu, which is symbolized by the bow, all the sons were born. Actually, all the constellations were absolutely perfect. There was great Mahayogas, and under the star of the bow, first Ramachandra was born, then Bharat was born shortly after. Then, after that, Lakshman and his twin brother Shatrugna were born. So, Sri Ram was blazing green, if you can imagine, a glowing blazing green. I believe his hair was like a blackish green, or black with a greenish glow to it. So dark green that it was black, and he had green eyes. And I believe Bharat looked similar to him, but hopefully someone can correct me. I think they had a similar look. And Lakshman was golden colored with, I think, golden hair. And Shatrugna had red hair. Was he red, or was it Bharat? No, Bharat was red. Bharat was red, that's right. Bharat was red. I have the AI, but I don't have the internet, so it doesn't work. Sorry. Anyhow, Bharat was red with blazing red hair, and I can't remember. Shatrugna had a dark color, something like that. But Lakshman had blue eyes and golden skin, golden hair. Yeah. So they were all very different looking, but they were all godly, and they would spend their early childhood with doing prank-like things because they were gods. You know, they were very smart and intelligent. So we know intelligent children are very prankster, and they had beautiful early childhood pastimes. When they would ride their horses, Lakshman would always follow right behind Lord Ram carrying a bow when they were riding horses, and Shatrugna likewise with Bharat. So they were like twins, pairs. Lakshman wouldn't sleep unless he knew Lord Ram was nearby and in his presence. Otherwise, he couldn't relax. He couldn't be alone. He could not be apart from Lord Ram. So their childhood passed in the ashram of Vashishta Rishi, the great grandfather of our beloved godbrother Pankaj Vashisht. You out there, Pankaj? That's you. He was actually born in the dynasty, Pankaj, the great Vaishnava from Gurudev's disciple, born in the dynasty of Vashishta Rishi. So I hope you're watching, Pankaj. This one's for you. So Vashishta Rishi taught them what many Kula gurus would teach, although Vashishta Rishi is one of the Sapta Rishis, the 7 Maharshis. They're great rishis. They're also Prajapatis. They propagated human culture on this planet. Without them, we would be like animals, practically speaking. So Vashishta Rishi taught the 4 boys mantras. He taught them dharma, and they were in his school with other children. So, and they were treated just as equals. They weren't given any special princely status, and they were very humble. They learned humility, and they learned, in the same way they learned how to rule, because they would become rulers one day. Eventually, I think around the age of 14 or so, the great sage, also Saptarishi Vishvamitra, came to Dasharath, or he actually came outside his kingdom and was standing outside his kingdom, and one of the guards went to go tell Dasharath that Vishvamitra, the great sage, was outside the gate. So Dasharath humbly on foot walked outside to the edge of his kingdom of his, what do you call it? Where do they live in kings? They live in fortresses, like giant fortress, kind of like the city. Yeah, palace. The outside the palace was like a fortress gate. So he walked from his palace on foot to the palace gate to meet Vishvamitra, holding water, rice, and flowers, which would be a traditional way to greet a sage, and offered pranams to him, and then walked him back to the palace and seated him there. And Vishvamitra asked Dasarath, please, I have a request from you. Will you submit to that? And without knowing the request, he said, yes, of course. I'm here for your service. And he said, I need your sons, Lakshman and Lord Ram and Ramachandra, to come with me. I'm experiencing great difficulties performing yagyas because of the demons. The demons, headed by Ravana, were raining blood and body parts from the sky down on their yagyas and destroying the fire sacrifices. And the life was getting very hard for rishis and brahmins out in the forest. Although there was some degree of goodness still going on, it was getting worse and worse to the point where Vishvamitra had come to request this help. So we can go a little into do we have time to talk a little about Vishvamitra? So there are various accounts of Vishvamitra's past life that maybe he was some kind of dacoit, but the Puranas say very clearly that he was a rishi, son of a rishi, and performed extensive sacrifices to the point where his renunciation was so strong that the demigods couldn't perform their activities, and his steam was coming from him, and he was just, for thousands of years, at times he would sit by one river, or he would go to the forest. Kashmir, no, that's Kashyapa Muni, never mind, different Muni, different Rishi. So, but anyhow, his tapasya was very great, so he became a Maharshi, and then eventually he wanted to become a Brahmin. So he performed, even after being a Rishi, to become a Brahmin, he did even more penances. He did even more tapasya to become a Brahmin. So people are thinking, oh, you can just easily go purchase a thread and a guru will make you a Brahmin, no problem. But actually, this becoming of a Brahmin at that time, this is Vedic times, Treta Yuga, to become a Brahmin was a very big deal. But a Brahmin at that time could perform fire sacrifices without a Bic lighter. And simply with mantra, they could light a fire. But a very great Brahmin named Ravana, who had 10 heads and 10 Brahmin threads and mantras as many as anybody else, was as powerful. Actually, the demigods were serving him. He had the demigods in his Ashok Grove performing like servants to him. They were surrendered to Ravan. Not Brahma, though. Lord Brahma was not. I highly doubt. We can check that later. No, Lord Shiva, no. Lord Shiva is not a demigod. Anyway, we're going to get more into Shiva, but Lord Shiva is thought of as a deva, but he's Mahadev. He's a tattva unto himself. He did not surrender to Ravan. So they couldn't really worship Indra because the fire sacrifices were being destroyed. And so anyhow, Lakshman and Ram went off with Vishwamitra and were trained in the art of Astra. Well, this is mantra-induced weapons, kind of like, you could say like atomic bombs and other types of inconceivable weapons that they're released by mantra, controlled by mantra, and then returned to the sender by mantra. Let's see if we can get the names of these. And so anyhow, they started to kill some demons, which was really cool because Vishwamitra even couldn't kill these demons, or maybe he could, but he wanted to glorify Ram and Hanuman. Let's see here. So the first one that was killed was Tatarka. So Tarka was was she an Apsara, or what are they called? The forest, should say here somewhere. Found some. Oh yeah, Yakshini. She was a Yakshini. Yakshas are like, they're not exactly demons, but they're not exactly demigods. They're like mystic they have powers like demigods. Anyhow, so she was a Yakshini, and but her husband had offended the sage Agastya Rishi, so they were cursed, and she became a hideous Rakshasa. And she was part of Ravana's gang, and I'm not exactly sure how she was interfering or doing terrible things, but she was eating human beings, and her sons were Maricha and Subahu. So they were just terrorizing the sages of the forest and interfering with all the oblations they were doing. Let's see here. So they Rama killed Taka. I don't know if he used an astra or his bow, but he did use his bow, or he used a divine weapon. He killed Subahu, her son, with his arrow, and I think he used an astra to knock Maricha far away, like into the ocean, across. Maricha, the sons of Tarka. You know, like Dal, Tarka, that really dark Dal.
So who's fighting on the good side?
Just Ram and Lakshman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, under the guidance of Vishwamitra.
I see.
So next they killed her sons Subahu and Maricha. And at that time, I think that was it. That was it for the demons that I could find. Anyhow, computer is very distracting. So afterwards, they killed these demons. Then Vishwamitra said, hey, let's go to see the bow, the Gandiva bow of Lord Shiva, which is in Janakpur. This is like somewhere near Nepal and Bihar in the mountains is Janakpuri. This is the abode of Janak Maharaj, the adopted father of Sita Devi, who was actually found coming out of the earth. They were plowing the earth either to prepare for a yugyo or maybe for growing vegetables or grains. But anyhow, when they were plowing the earth, there was a virgin girl just in the earth. So Sita is actually the daughter of Bhumi Devi. She is not a natural born child. She's a manifestation of Radharani in the age of Treta Yuga. So they adopted Sita and raised her, and it came time for her Swayamvar, so many princes were coming, and her father, Janak Maharaj, brought out the bow, Gandiva bow, which Shiva used to threaten the Dakshas, or Daksha and all of his followers who had done a great yagya but did not honor Lord Shiva. So he took his bow up and said, "Where's my portion of the yagya?" And then everyone worshipped him eventually and praised him, and so he just gave the bow away. He didn't need it. And it was passed down eventually to Janak Maharaj. And so the bow was out and nobody could string it. Many princes came and picked it. Am I stealing somebody's Leela here? Nobody else is speaking this one? Okay. So this is a great, great story. Actually, many were present. Definitely Vishwamitra was there, but other sages were present. This was a very big event. And so when they arrived, I believe, anyhow, when they arrived, the glories of Vishwamitra were spoken upon his arrival, and there was he was greatly honored as one of the Saptarishis, and Lakshman and Ram were there, and so the next day after their arrival, somehow, I don't even think there was any original plan outwardly for Ram or Lakshman to enter the Swayamvar to compete for the hand of Sita, but by providence and destiny, Lord Ramachandra easily picked up the bow, which nobody could even lift, and easily strung it, and in stringing it, broke it. So when the bow broke, it made a loud thunderclap, which could be heard across the whole material world probably, and definitely was heard by the ears of Parashuram, who was the 6th avatar of Vishnu, I think. Anyone know? Lord Ram is what, the 6th or the 7th? 7th. So the 6th avatar, Parashuram, the previous avatar, I believe, he heard this snapping of the bow, and Parashuram was a follower, worshiper of Shiva, so he was very upset. And so he immediately appeared in the palace of Janak Maharaj, very angrily, to essentially chastise whoever had broken the Gandiva bow. But Lord Ram was not afraid of Parashuram, even though Parashuram was very frightening. He carried a hatchet. He killed 21 generations of Kshatriyas in India and drove many out of India into the hinterlands of Europe and God knows where, America. The Hunas, the ancestors, they were the ones who were spared. Maybe 20 of their generations were killed, and the last one escaped to Germany to be these Huns, Attila the Hun, and to fight with the Romans and do all these somewhat interesting, but not that interesting leelas in the hinterlands. So, but Parashuram, seeing that Lord Ram was not at all afraid, was quite surprised and began to recognize, oh, this is Vishnu himself. This is the source of even my existence, because Parashuram is a plenary portion of Krishna, Vishnu. And so there's another bow is manifested. Does anyone know the name of that bow? Anyhow, so somehow, maybe we'll talk about this again, somehow the bow of Vishnu, right? Vishnu's bow is manifest, and then Lord Ram, I don't know, I wish we could find out, but the internet's not working here. Somehow he gets Vishnu's bow, another bow, and he's like, he strings that bow, and he said, this bow, once it's pulled, has to be fired. So should I kill you, Parashuram? And Parashuram was like, wow, I thought I was the boss. So then he said, instead, I'm going to kill your anger, this anger that has driven you to kill all these bad Kshatriyas and walked the earth for so many thousands of years, just furious. So he actually used the bow to kill the anger of Parashuram. And then Parashuram was greatly relieved and went off to the forest to meditate by the river, sacred river of some kind. So that was very good. Parashuram was relieved of his duties of being the avatar, and Lord Ram clearly was God. I think at this point people were starting to think that. So, because they knew Parashuram, who he was, and Ramachandra was displaying even greater prowess. So this was the pre-climax of this, this is like a nice early glorious point in Ram's career as being the avatar. We're thinking, oh, everything is really good. He just won the hand of Sita, who nobody could take as a wife, but he did. And then so they performed the ceremony, the marriage ceremony there and then they went off to Ayodhya. And we'll leave it at that for now. Is anyone taking over from here? Nikunja Prabhu. All right. Hare Krishna.
Om Ganatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I offer my unlimited obeisances at the dust of the lotus feet of my spiritual master, Srimati Shamarani Didi, our grandfather gurus, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and to all the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. To begin, may I get one enthusiastic Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram. Haribol. So we're fast forwarding quite a bit here. I was asked to speak on some details of the battle that occurs in Lanka. So I'll be speaking specifically on Kumbhakarna and Meghnad, Indrajit. But first, to give some context, so Rama's army has crossed the Setu bridge to Lanka, and Ravana has refused to accept the final peace of returning Sita Devi, so war is inevitable. It breaks out, and it ends up being quite the consequential battle with many interesting characters that come to play. And so these two warriors, Kumbhakarna and Indrajit, are Ravana's most devastating weapons in this war. So speaking more about Kumbhakarna, he is Ravana's giant brother, absolutely huge, who has power rivaling Indra himself. And he received a boon from Brahma, but he ended up asking for the wrong boon. And he was cursed to sleep for 6 months at a time. So definition of tamas, right? He's deep in his rest. And so they had to try to awake him, to summon him to come to the battle. They used elephants, drums, mountains of food. And once he finally came awake, he rebuked Ravana. He actually had the moral clarity to see how it was really wrong to capture Sita Devi, but because of his Kula Dharma being his brother, he decided to fight and defend the kingdom. So he storms the battle. The warriors are fleeing. Thousands are swallowed or trampled by him. He's a unit, big guy, really huge, really huge. Kumbhakarna, yeah. He's a unit. And so Sugriva is captured by him, but Sugriva ends up biting off his nose and his ear and then escaping. So he wasn't fully defeated. And then Rama comes to sever his limbs one by one with the Varuna. Who is Sugriva? Monkey Chief. So yeah, he's on Ram's team, basically. Rama severs his limbs one by one with the Varuna and Indra Astras. And then the final blow is the Brahmastra, where he's beheaded and his head falls into the sea. So a big outtake of this lesson of Kumbhakarna is he had loyalty to his kin or to his family over Dharma and the truth. So he saw what was right, but chose to act wrongly. And then we get to Meghnad, Indrajit, who is also a very fearsome warrior. In fact, he's Ravana's eldest son and the most dangerous warrior in Lanka. He has the name Indrajit, meaning conqueror of Indra, because he defeated and captured Indra. So his power comes from a fire sacrifice called the Nikumbila Homa, which if he was able to complete, he would basically become totally invincible. Pretty scary. So, first strikes in this battle when he comes out onto the field. The Nagastra blinds Rama, Lakshman, and the entire army in serpents. And so then Garuda descends and devours them all. And this was a recognition of Rama's divinity, having Garuda come, confirming this. Even more so, for all of the warriors to see. And he ended up creating Maya Sita, this illusory Sita, and kills her before Hanuman to break the morale of the army. And Vibhishana reveals that this was an illusion. So Vibhishana is on the side of Ravan, and he's kind of like an informer, is what I understand. Correction? Eventually, yes. But did he begin on the side of Ravan?
Well, he's a demon. He's in Ravan.
Yeah, so he's in Ravan's army, but he didn't want to fight. So yes, we'll get to exactly his role a little bit later. But then there is this crisis with the Shakti spear, which is a very powerful weapon that strikes Lakshman and nearly killed him. So this was when Lakshman was out for the count. And Hanuman had to flee to the Himalayas and bring back this special herb. He ended up taking the whole mountain, taking the animals with him. This, I believe, was Indrajit in the first battle between him and Lakshman. And so Hanuman brings this back. Lakshman is revived. And then there's the final duel between Lakshman and Indrajit. And so here Vibhishan reveals to him that you must stop the yagya, the fire ceremony, before it's complete. And so Lakshman goes out to battle him, and he interrupts the sacrifice. An epic battle is ensued. The Indra Ashtra is invoked, and he serves Indrajit's head with this. And so Ravana is weeping because this was his greatest son and his topmost warrior. And this really marks the turning point in the battle, where the most strong, his last card basically had been played and was defeated.
What was the last card?
His last card was Meghnad, his strongest warrior.
Was Meghnad's other name?
Indrajit. Yeah. So, learning from this, Indrajit had immense Shakti and immense power, but he didn't use it in Dharma. It was in his own ego, and it ultimately led to his destruction. So, summarizing these great warriors and some details of the battle, Kumbhakarna knew the truth, but he chose incorrectly. He was loyal to his family instead of to Sri Ram and to Dharma. In Indrajit, he was at maximum power, but zero surrender, right? So very prideful, very strong warrior, but without the intelligence to surrender. And Vibhishan ended up choosing over his clan. He chose correctly to inform and support Ram, despite being a demon, and later on he ended up receiving Lanka itself. And both of these two demons, they fell through Rama's grace, directly him or his devotees. And this battle, we can think about this in some sense, some think of it like as entertainment or military, but the reality, it is the victory of Dharma always when the Lord engages in these righteous battles. So ultimately, Yato Dharmastato Jaya, where there is Dharma, there will be victory, right? Jai Shri Ram. Jai Shri Ram. That is all. Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments?
I just want to say one thing about the Dharma that you
Could
just
you
said.
maybe speak to the mic for the
Just a cool little quote about Dharma, like you're saying, like Dharma is undefeatable. if you protect Dharma, Dharma will protect you. I don't know where I can't remember which sadhu I heard that from, but I've always liked it 'cause it's just simple.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hari Bol.